Hey, welcome to an episode of Chad's Beer Reviews and another sampler pack review. This is a good old Saranac made right here in Utica, New York. Now, there's 6 beers in here, and 3 of these I've done individual video reviews of. 3 of them I have not, but back in 2008, before I even started doing video reviews, I actually did text reviews of the Kölsch, the Belgian White, and the Hefeweizen. I loved them 3 years ago. So we're going to see if they hold up 3 years later, if I've changed, if the beers have changed, whatever. So, you know the deal. I drink 1 beer a day over the next 6 nights and just give you final thoughts on those beers. So, we'll start with the Belgian White. Alright, first up is the Saranac Belgian White, and I'm drinking it out of my 𝓑𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷 glass here. I used to love this beer. Well, I haven't had it in about 3 years, and you know, back in 2008, I was raving about this beer. I was like, oh my god, it's so delicious, so easy to drink. I love it. I wouldn't say... I mean, it's definitely an easy beer to drink today. It has genuine taste to it. The best way to describe it is... Well, I mean, like, a lot of people say 𝓑𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷 is too... Like, it's too mild for the style or whatever. I mean, if that's the case, then they wouldn't like this, but I do. Yeah, 𝓑𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷 is more robust than this, but this is like a fairly close American interpretation. You are getting a lot of lemon citrus in here. You're getting a little orange peel and coriander spice in there to give it like a little bit of zestiness. It's mostly a clean, you know, kind of mild palate. It goes down really easy. I'm drinking this on a very hot night. You can probably hear the air conditioner in the other room. So yeah, it's very refreshing. Mostly clean aftertaste, and what's there is just a nice little sweet, spicy kind of thing. So, while I wouldn't consider it an awesome beer anymore, I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's a good beer. I like it. Alright, next beer is the Saranac Hefeweizen. I still saved quite a bit here. As you might be able to see, yeah, there's still plenty of carbonation there. I managed to fill up almost this whole glass. I mean, it's a half-liter glass, only a 12-ounce bottle. But, you know, last night I said the Belgian White tastes like Americanized 𝓑𝓮𝓻𝓲𝓷. Well, this Hefeweizen basically tastes like Americanized 𝓑𝓮𝓲𝓃. It's, you know, so it's got the basic makings of a German Hef. You know, it's more clove than banana in there. A little bit of other spices. Very, very smooth. It's, I think there's a slight bit of lemon, or like lemongrass or lemon peel in there too. So it's tasty. It's not very robust. I definitely call it more on the mild side, but very smooth going down, easy drinking beer. So this is another 7. It's a good beer. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Saranac Hefeweizen. Alright, third beer, we got the Saranac Kölsch. I put it in my Pilsner glass because a Kölsch is very similar to a Pilsner. It's, you know, kind of fizzy yellow beer. When I first poured it, it was like champagne effervescence. It's, you know, calmed down a bit since then, although you still see some bubbles in there. It's, you know, it is very lager-like. It's, you know, fizzy, very just kind of wet grain kind of taste to it. There's like a touch of sweetness in there, like just kind of a maltiness, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Nothing sour though, you know, no sour, no skunk, not as annoyingly fizzy as a macro lager. Not a whole lot of real organic, authentic taste here though. It's mostly neutral tasting, but you know, drinkability on it is great. It's, you know, pretty soft, goes down smooth, mostly clean aftertaste. 3 years ago, I was rather indifferent to this beer, and the same is true today. I would definitely give this a 5 again, but for slightly different reasons. I think the biggest change in the last 3 years is that drinking this, I can tell it's an ale and not a lager. But you know, that being said, it's still not knocking my socks off or anything. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for the Saranac Kölsch. Alright, now we're moving on to the Pale Pale Ale. That's not a typo, it really is double pale ale. Pale ale is Saranac's flagship beer, so they just took it and made it even paler. Although, I mean, I think I actually like this better. It's a very crisp, kind of light, clean tasting pale ale. It has distinct hops to it. Mostly, it's one of those beers that's like all orange. It smells orange. It has like that kind of orange sherbet kind of sweetness to it, but it does have like a nice citrusy taste to it and distinct bitterness. It's even, it's slightly dry. Even for a double pale ale, even the hops linger for, just a moment or two here. It's nice and crisp while it's in the mouth. Hops kind of scrub the tongue here, so I think this would be a good beer to have with food. Goes down nice and smooth. I forget the ABV on this, but it's not that heavy as a regular pale ale since, like as they say, double pale. I haven't had this in 2 years. 2 years ago I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to say the same thing. This beer is held up. 7 out of 10 for the Saranac Pale Pale Ale. So, that's it. Alright, fifth beer is, not surprisingly, the Summer Ale. It's a pretty generic summer ale. I mean, they're all pretty much the same. They're basically just blonde ales with wheat or pale wheat ales. They make a mention on here of look for subtle hints of lemon, orange, and spice, and I would agree with that. They're extremely subtle, but they're there. So, I mean, it just kind of drinks like a very generic pale wheat ale, blonde ale. Not very bitter, not very flavorful. Refreshing, I guess. Very smooth. It's not very carbonated at all. Well, not anymore. Goes down smooth, thirst quenching. But if you're looking for taste, there's not much here. 2 years ago, I gave it a 6. I liked it a little bit better. I'm gonna drop down 1 point to a 5. I mean, it's not a bad beer at all. It's just not really doing anything for me. So, one more beer to go. Alrighty, last beer, the IPA. 3 years ago, when I first started getting into craft beer, and especially into hops, this beer was like really one of the key transition beers. 2008, I was like raving about this beer. I don't know if they've changed recipes since then, or if my palate just totally changed, because this went from an outstanding beer to, I think back in 2009, I reviewed it again, and I was like, okay, it's a good IPA. And then I'm drinking it today, and it's not bad. It's just not anything particularly special. Like, it's not piney, it's not flowery, it's certainly not citrusy at all. It's mostly just sheer dry bitterness. It's just lots of hops. It seems to have like the IBUs like in the 60s or 70s, but it's only 5.8%. So I don't know, what it's going, what it actually is. So like not much real actual flavor and taste here. It's just, as far as bitterness, it delivers. And you can see we got some decent lacing on the glass. It's hard to really describe actually, but I used to absolutely love this beer, and today it's just kind of okay. In fact, that's what I'm going to give it. I'm giving it a 6, which means okay, above average. I can, I like it. I give it a thumbs up, but there's so much more stuff I would go for. Anyways, so that does it for the Saranac 12 Beers of Summer Mix Pack for 2011. Every single beer in here got at least a thumbs up or a thumb sideways. The Kölsch was the only one I gave a 5 to, but everything else, gets 6 or 7. So, yeah, it's a good deal. I'd recommend it. $15 for, 6 different beers, and you get 12 bottles. That's a pretty good deal, I'd say. So, thanks for watching this episode of Chad's Beer Reviews, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.